But yes, the topic of today is journaling when you are tired, triggered, or checked out. And I've got my notes down. Look, see, this is from yesterday. This is from today. So, um, and those of you that can see the video as well, I'm in a different location because I need to run some errands, and I didn't want to put that on hold while I was coming to you all today. So I want to go ahead and get into it, um, and let you get what you need. And so, yeah. Now, um, I mentioned this. I touched on this very briefly yesterday about how when I did the journaling challenge that I first hosted in December, a lot of people were saying things along the lines of, I need to be in a certain mood or I need to be in a certain space before I journal. And that's just not true. There's no easy or soft way to say that. That's just not true. If anything, when you are feeling those really big feelings, when you are feeling sadness, rage, um, despair, hopelessness, whatever, if anything, you can always write those feelings down. You can always do that. Um, because the truth of the matter is, for me, if I would have waited until I felt better to journal, if I would have waited until I felt better to write down how I was feeling, I don't even know if I would be here, honestly. Um, because journaling, it really did save my life. If I had waited until I had come out of that depressive episode on my own, which I don't even know if I would have been able to, honestly. If I would have waited for that moment to come, if I would have waited to feel better or get in the mood to write, I don't even know if I would be here telling my story and sharing that experience with you all. That's just the truth. I would very likely, if I did make it through, I would very likely be stuck in the same story that I was in, the same chapter. I wouldn't have moved on and I wouldn't be where I am right now. And so I want to give that to you all. I also want to touch on, um, because even though I have notes, I still want this to be conversational. I understand what it's like to be tired. I'm tired pretty much all the time. Finding, trying to figure out how to not be tired all the time, but between the air that we're breathing, the water we're drinking, the food we're consuming, right? Like all of that stuff on top of my neurodivergence, on top of me potentially, geez, that's the word I was trying to say. On top of me potentially um having some autoimmune stuff going on just based on research I've been doing via Google University. Um, there's a lot. Not to mention everything that's going on collectively. There's just so much going on. And so it's okay for you to be tired. It's okay for you to be tired. It's okay for you to be checked the hell out sometimes. I get it. I understand. And then when you add, people who are living with chronic conditions, when you add that to your day to day, it's exhausting. Sometimes it is just exhausting to exist. I understand that. It doesn't have to be that way. And I'm not saying to ignore your physical pain. I'm not saying to ignore your circumstances or anything like that. But I'm letting you know that it's okay. And you don't have to feel good all the time. You don't have to feel good to to express those feelings and get those feelings out. And that is another reason why I turn to my journal. I don't know if anybody watching or listening has ever had that experience where you're talking to your friend or your significant other or your therapist, and you feel like you're saying the same shit over and over and over. You feel like you're constantly talking about the same thing, and it's like, damn, I really wish I could stop talking about that. I get tired of talking about that. I get tired of thinking about that. When you write it down and you go back and look at it, you can see why. you're talking about the same thing over and over. You are able to see that pattern more clearly when you write it down because you take the information in differently, right? Um, it's hard to really be honest when you're deep in your feelings. It's hard. I'm not judging. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm saying it's hard. Just like a child that's throwing a tantrum, when they are spiraling out of control, they don't hear hush, they don't hear stop, they're not processing that because they are consumed by their feelings at the moment. The same thing happens to us when we are experiencing something that triggers the fuck out of us, when we're experiencing something painful, when we're experiencing something that brings up fear within us, we are unable to calm down enough to view the situation from a healthier perspective, from a more clear perspective. And it's hard for us to be honest about why we feel the way we feel. Now, this does not mean like if you happen to find yourself in a situation where legit danger is present, then you need to calm down so you can understand why you feel that way. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about just regular, everyday shit. I'm not talking about, extreme circumstances. I'm not talking about moments where you could potentially face danger or there's like an emergency happening. I'm not talking about those situations. I'm talking about just your day to day doing what you need to do everyday situation. When you are triggered, when you have gaslit yourself to the point of being triggered, right? When you have been around other people that may have done those things, it's hard for you to be honest about exactly what you're experiencing and exactly how you feel about it in that moment. And it's also hard for you to make decisions about how to handle those people or those situations moving forward when you're deep in your feelings. So when you're triggered, it's important to write because, like I said, you can catch those patterns. You can catch those patterns. When you find yourself talking about the same thing over and over again, feeling the same feelings over and over and over again, there's a reason why that's happening. And it's easier for you to figure that reason out if you have a reference point. And on top of that, your journal is never going to judge you. Your journal is a safe space. It's a safe space. Whether you're writing it down, which I'm 100% advocate for, or whether you are doing audio journaling or video journaling, that's your safe space. There's no judgment there. The only person that can judge that space is you, really and truly, and if you whatever kind of journaling you decide to do, especially if you have other people that you share space with, keep it keep those things tucked away, password protected, so that they remain safe, right? But those are your safe spaces and you won't be judged there. So it's okay for you to let out everything that you feel. It's okay for you to let out everything that you feel. A journal prompt that I would like for you to sit with, right? Just one. I wrote down like three, but just one that I want you to sit with when you are experiencing heavy feelings or when you find yourself triggered. What did I want to say that I didn't? What did I want to say in that moment that I didn't say? And I feel like I need to go ahead and give y'all another one for when you're feeling triggered. The second one is what did I need that I didn't get? And that can be, what did you need at your job, or what did you need from your significant other? What did you need from yourself? What did you need from your doctor? What did you need that you didn't get? Those are two questions that I want you to mull over, think about, and hopefully journal about when it comes to being triggered and feeling those feelings. And now, circling back to being tired. I'm tired right now. I am tired right now. My eyes hurt. I have been begging myself for a nap all day. Okay. So I understand being tired, but not once, at least that I'm aware of, not once have I encountered someone, that I can recall that says being tired means you are unworthy of having what you want, of living your dreams, of um, creating the life that you desire for yourself. Being tired is just being tired. It doesn't have anything to do with your worth or your value. Being tired also is not an excuse for you to not do the things that you need to do. If it's something that requires your whole body, let yourself rest. But if it's more of a mental tired, emotional tired situation, spiritually tired situation, you can do something called, I don't know if this is the exact term, but I think it's called, like, it's low lift activity, right? Low lift activities. So, an example would be, instead of cleaning your whole house, maybe you just clean one room in the house. Or instead of, cleaning for an hour, you set a timer for 10 minutes. Or you clean for the length of like one song, right? That would be considered low lift. You're still getting the thing done, but you're not having to exert more energy than you're capable of at the time. When it comes to journaling, a lot of people believe, and I used to believe this too, that you have to write page after page after page after page after page. And sometimes you just don't have shit to say. Sometimes you really don't have anything to say because you are done. You have had enough. You are tired. You need a break from everything and everyone. Sometimes you have nothing to say. But even in those moments, I guarantee you can write one line a day. That is a concept that I first discovered when I was looking into bullet journaling. Which I totally gave up on because I wanted mine to be like super artistic and gorgeous, and I just did not have it in me to be doing all that. So I get my fix by watching people on YouTube make these amazing bullet journals. Like, oh my god, I love, one of my favorite things to watch. But anyway, because I'm trying to stay on track, so I can go ahead and wrap this up because it's already been 15 minutes roughly. So one line a day, you literally write one sentence about how you feel, or you write one sentence about what's on your mind. One thing that you write every day. One thing. You can give yourself one thing. You take, sorry, I got a call, and hopefully that didn't mess up my live stream. I really don't know.